Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. And joining me today, I've got Hemant Mehta of the Friendly Atheist.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. I apologize that the spacing between us is kind of weird. Cyrus is supposed to be in the middle, but he didn't join the call in time, so
His loss.
yep. So it's good to have you here. Before we begin, I just want to say we are raising money for Project Share Niagara. It is a food bank in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, which they do a lot more than just food bank stuff. They have a hand in running a homeless shelter. They help people find jobs. They help people find childcare. They help people with that are late on their bills, and they have a bunch of other programs as well on top of all that. It's a really good charitable organization, and since I began doing fundraisers for them, my audience has donated over $80,000 to them.
That is
Um,
awesome.
so yeah, we're doing that again this year. Looking forward to seeing the results. So far, inaugural stream yesterday, we raised $857, um,
Thanks.
and we're looking to get to 15,000 by the end of November. So,
That's
if you
awesome.
want to donate, you can go to donate.vicerhino.com. That is a forwarded URL, so it'll take you there. If the forward doesn't work for whatever reason, I do have the direct link pinned in the YouTube chat. Please do not send super chats. They're not a big enough charity to be part of YouTube's charitable giving program thing, and so if you send a super chat, YouTube will take 30% off the top. Um, so yeah, with that said, Hemant, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Uh it's it's a chaotic day for the stuff I do at home, but it's a good day and I'm glad to be here. This is kind of relaxing and nice, so it's all good.
It's we like to keep things casual here. I do have some questions I
Yeah, let's
want
go.
to ask you. Um, so I poked around your Wikipedia article in preparation for this, and
Oh
I
God.
I hadn't realized that apparently you were raised in Jainism.
Yeah. I grew up in the religion called Jainism, smaller Indian religion, that for the people who don't know anything about it, it's based in nonviolence. You're not
Hmm.
supposed to eat meat, you're not supposed to think bad thoughts, things like that. And that's all well and good. Like, I think if you go back to remember The End of Faith by Sam Harris?
Vaguely, yes.
Vaguely, yeah, like in that book, he talks about religion is bad, moderate religion gives cover to extremist religions. And I think even in that book, he says the exception to the rule here is extreme Jainism.
Hmm.
Like if we were all Jains, maybe that wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Yeah, because that's the one
Where
where they'll like walk with a broom ahead of them to sweep out any bugs that they might step
that's like an
on.
extreme version that maybe what the monks do, regular people not so much. But where I parted ways with Jainism was they do believe in a lot of supernatural stuff that makes no sense. Heaven, hell, karma, reincarnation. And when you take away all of that, it's like I don't think you can call I don't think I can call myself a Jain at that point,
Yeah,
even if I like the philosophy behind it.
yeah. It's nice to believe true things.
It's
Um,
always a plus.
so yeah, that's fascinating. I that's not one that I get a lot of experience with.
Yeah, there's not a
Is
lot of us, certainly. And what's ironic is if you ask, say, a philosophy professor about Jainism, they will tell you it's a non-theistic religion. So you would think there's a lot of overlap between Jains and atheists. And yet, in my personal experience, if you ask people who are Jain if they believe in God, the answer is inevitably yes, which is strange.
I just do what God would they say they believe in?
There
Is it
are, oh man, it gets complicated. It's a nebulous version of God, but there are
it's,
like 2 dozen prophets that have existed. It gets very
so
strange.
almost like a form of deism?
In a sense, yeah, like I guess I left Jainism before I was old enough to even know what words like that meant. But as I'm older now, like, yeah, it very much is a kind of deistic sort of God, but that's not a philosophical answer. That's just that is kind of how we treat it.
Hmm. one of those things where the adherents don't necessarily put a lot of thought into it. It's just like, yeah, there's our God.
Honestly, in my experience, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. There, like, if you go to the Jain Sunday school, there are things you will learn, but it is not, you don't have the types of apologists that you would find in
Mm,
Christian circles. You don't have hardcore theology going on. It's more like, here's a set of stories we tell. You should know the specifics of those stories, things
yeah.
like that.
Oh, do you know if there's any tie-in with Jainism and the Happy Science cult?
I am not familiar with that one.
Oh, you're not familiar with that?
No.
They're one that the main thing I know them for is doing really, really insane anime movies.
Oh,
That several of them
I
end with the protagonist in hell fighting Mecha Hitler riding a dinosaur.
I mean that should be tied in with everything now.
But that's one of their things is that they their prophet has been all of the other prophets throughout history, and they take credit for basically anyone who's been famous and hit, like he was Isaac Newton at one time, he was
Oh,
Jesus at
nice.
another time, and it's
I like it.
a lot.
No, I have not heard of that. That's fascinating.
Oh, oh, here we go. We've got Sable Eagle says Jainism does not mean being a big fan of that one guy from Firefly. Dude,
I also don't know Firefly.
oh,
Sorry,
there's a whole
sci-fi
song
not my
about it.
thing. Is it really?
Yeah, there's a man named Jane who dropped a bunch of money on a town. Well, he pulled off a heist and he had to drop a bunch of money in order to like make orbit or something. And so he was just like trying to escape, but then the whole town idolized him after that.
Interesting. I know nothing about this.
It's a fun show that I get less enjoyment out of
Really?
since things about Joss Whedon have come out.
Sure. Okay.
I have a hard time with separating the art from the artist.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. I have Richard Dawkins books on my shelves. Some of these places, it's like I actually like some of the evolution books he's written. Like they're really well done, and I'm
Yeah,
like, you know what? I don't need to read it again. I'm fine,
yeah,
even
yeah.
though it has nothing to do with where his positions are now.
Oh, as a person who dabbles in response videos, especially to Christian apologists, it drives me
Oh yeah,
nuts how often they bring up Dawkins as the quintessential example of an atheist. I'm just like, come on,
yeah,
get with the
yeah.
times. We don't do that anymore.
Yes.
um, so I did watch the latest video on your channel about the
Yeah.
Billy Graham rule. You
Yeah.
just uploaded it today. Um,
Yeah.
it just kind of a fascinating thing where like
Yeah, it was a guy who does like HVAC repair, which is
yeah.
totally fine and normal. And he told his bosses a couple years ago that I will work here at this company, but you can't send me on a job with another woman and nobody else because that's what his religion says.
Yeah.
And the boss at the time was like, that seems weird. Also, the one woman we just hired is lesbian. I promise you she ain't interested. And the guy's like, doesn't matter. You can't send me alone with her anywhere because, I don't know, optics. And that's what the Billy Graham rule is, right? Billy Graham did not want to be in the presence of a woman who is not his
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
Even though he's like, I wouldn't do anything, but, this hussy might. And people might think bad things about me. So better to just not be around any women. And listen, I don't care what Billy Graham does, but if Mike Pence did that, and he
Yeah.
did, it's like, well, I guess we just shouldn't hire any women at the top echelons of government. And that becomes a different problem.
Yes.
Anyway, this HVAC dude, he said the same thing. And at some point, this is all verbal, it was never in writing, but like he did get sent on some jobs where he was alone with this woman. And the woman, as far as I can tell, totally professional. But this guy would have like, I don't know, panic attacks or he would just start having emotional, spiritual freakouts. And now he's suing the company for making him have to work with this
with
woman
someone with lady
against his
parts.
will. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a wild story. I don't know how that ends because, as far as I could tell,
With the Supreme Court, who
asking-
knows?
I mean, right, exactly. Who knows what the courts are going to say these days? But also, the burden he's placing on his company for like you have to schedule me and do the puzzle so that I'm never alone with this person, even though that's not always an option for every company. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know if this counts as a burden that is unfair for the company or not. And I think
Yeah,
that's what it's going to boil down to.
that's one of those weird things that Rifra gave us is the whole
Right.
like I don't know whether or not this even counts. And generally, as a Canadian looking in, the way I've seen it play out is that if it's Christianity, then
Yeah.
it's valid. If it's not
Right.
Christianity, then it doesn't count.
I mean, yes, that is pretty much how it's played out. And again, the basic argument here is this guy says his religion says he can't do this. The law says, is your religion placing a burden on the company? And is the company's response reasonable?
Yeah.
And if the company says it's not reasonable to say we can't send a professional employee to do a job because you are afraid of cooties.
Yeah.
But if your religion says cooties are bad, I don't know if the courts are like, well, that overrides everything.
The thing that confuses me the most about the Billy Graham rule is that like Jesus quite famously was like, "No, of course I'm going to hang out with the prostitutes.
Right.
I don't care what you think."
Yeah, well, it's the same people who are like, well, we have to get married because we got to act like Jesus.
Yeah, no, yeah,
So
the
they
guy
don't
who
really
died
care.
single and surrounded himself with
Yeah.
men.
Yeah, they don't really care what Jesus did about anything.
Yeah. Now we did get a couple donations, so I'd like.
Yes.
Cirrus has a thing going on his channel where he does not like to say the word uwu. And so he's got a redeem where when someone gets a ridiculous amount of points, they can make him say uwu.
Nice.
And then if someone gets the maximum number of points it's possible to accumulate on Twitch, they can do what's called a nuwook, which is then every other redeem turns into an uwu. And it was
This is intense and very complicated, and I love it.
it was something. It derailed our stream quite a bit.
Nice.
Oh, apparently I don't have sound when I go to the checking
Oh, okay.
names page. Let's just. Okay, there should be sound on this page now. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So yeah, so that's donations that have come in so far. So we're now at
That's
$1,057.
Keep it coming.
So yeah, probably my favorite example of the Billy Graham rule playing out is
Yeah.
Do you know who Donald James Parker is?
No.
He's a Christian movie maker, but he's one of these guys that like he makes the movies with like himself and whoever's in his church group that's willing to be in the movie with him. And,
So like every Christian movie.
yeah, but they're all so bad. They're so bad, but they're so much fun to watch.
Yes.
Like there's one where the plot of the movie is he's this old widower and he runs into an old widow and they start dating, and when they start talking about marriage, it's like, ooh, I need to confess about the Jezebel incident. Like, oh, like a year before I met you, I once had consensual sex with a woman.
Oh no.
And then the movie takes a hard right turn and is like, you need to get tested for AIDS.
Yes.
And
love it.
It's just wild. But there was a YouTuber who convinced him to allow him to like come down to his house and interview him. And as just like a test, he brought his sister as his camera operator, and as a test, he just like left the room with his sister and Donald James Parker at the same time, just to see what would happen. He immediately like jumped out of his chair and ran out of the room as fast as he could.
Wow. I don't know, man. These people can't function in society. I don't know how they get through life.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably ask before I read this next donation thing out.
Yeah.
But how are you with dirty humor?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, I can tamp it down if I need to. But
donation. What the hell?
No, so this is more channel. I'm sorry for dumping channel lore on you, but
All right.
So Piper D donated $43. Is that my editor, Piper? Is that you, Piper? So Lord Gary gets off on giving to charity. Donate to give Gary an orgasm.
There we go.
So Gay Unicorn Gary is kind of my channel mascot.
Okay.
He is a trans gay unicorn who is the creator of the universe and is placed inside of all of us the sincere desire to participate in a gay orgy. And if you don't
Yes.
if you don't acknowledge that you have that desire, you are suppressing that desire in your unrighteousness.
I didn't know there was any other type of unicorn.
Yeah, that's but that's Gary, and I have merch of him. But don't buy the merch. Go donate to Project Share. Merch is for next
Right.
month. Um, yeah. So I also wanted to ask you, and I'm actually so happy we can't really see it on the way I've got the call cropped, but
Yeah.
right behind you is the book "I Sold My Soul" on eBay.
Oh yeah.
So I did want to ask you about like, so my understanding is you would like just post on eBay that like if you win this auction, I will go to your church service.
Yeah, this is like post college. I don't quite have any clue what to do anymore because I left grad school and I'm like, what should I do with my life? I have a lot of time. I am volunteering with some atheist organizations because I'm really into that at the time. This is like 2004 or 5-ish.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed working with those groups. Like it was something, I mean, atheism, I'm passionate about the topic. And at the time, it felt like we were on the cusp of something that was going to be big. And so I like working with those groups. So I'm into that, but I don't really have any career plans at this point. And so I had time. And so I'm like, all these people I'm working with in these nonprofit groups, these atheist groups, they all pretty much have come from Christian backgrounds. I'm one of the only people who did not go to church growing up, not a Christian church anyway.
Okay.
And so I'm like, well, might as well have fun with this. Why don't I just offer to go to church for the highest bidder? Because that seems like the sort of thing people do online.
Yeah.
And long story short, it became a bidding war, and a pastor won for like $504, and that meant I had to go to church every week for a year.
Oh
And
God.
yeah, it was. I'm like, that one backfired on me.
That's that's not enough money for that.
I know. In hindsight, you were right. It only made sense when you thought no one's going to bid more than $20. But this pastor was like, he's not even a pastor. He's like a ministry leader of sorts. But he basically said, listen, I would love for you to become a Christian, but going to church every week is absolutely not going to do that. So he's like, why don't we make a deal? Go to like 10, but he will pick them out for me because he knows the layout. He knew the landscape of Christianity in a way I did not. And he knew I lived in Chicago. So he's like, I'm going to send you to a church plant that just started. I will send you to an evangelical megachurch. I'll send you to the south side of Chicago to a predominantly black church. Like, I want you to get a feel for these different types of things. And in return, because you're not going to 50 churches, in return, write about your honest feelings about all these churches on his ministry's website, and we'll call it a deal. And that's what I ended up doing. And basically, a publisher saw that
And
experiment.
that's how the Friendly
taking
Atheist
place.
started?
I'll get to that in a second. But a publisher saw that and said, we like this. Hey, after you're done doing it for this pastor, can we send you to other churches? And you can just write a book about that. That's what that book is. I sold my soul on eBay. But after I was done doing all that, it's like, you have to understand, this is early days of like the blogosphere of sorts. And it was kind of cool at the time that me, guy who doesn't write, could just be like, here's what I saw at the church. I liked this. I hated this. And there would actually be interesting civil comment threads with a lot of people who agreed or disagreed, and they were having passionate arguments about what they experienced when they go to those types of churches. It was really fascinating. And I'm like, I kind of want to keep this going, even though the experiment is done. And so I started writing about atheism and politics and the news and whatever that intersection. That is how my website started at the time, and that's kind of what I'm doing today.
All right. So so that kind of kicked off your career.
In a sense, it did, and it was a hobby for many years. It's just like, well, that seems like a natural extension of what I can bring to the table right now. Because again, I'm working with these organizations doing interesting things, launching atheist groups on college campuses. They were putting out magazines for free thought, things like that. And I'm like, very interesting. I'm learning a lot, but who am I? What can I bring to this discussion? And that was one way to get into it. And, years later, people have come and gone doing the same sort of thing. I don't know why I'm still here, but I'm still here.
Well, because the world has need of a friendly...
the same can be said about YouTube, too. There have been people doing it forever, and some people who are amazing at it from the get-go, and they're brand new. And, you build your audience over time, and people appreciate what you do.
I hate that my most popular video on my channel is the second video I ever made. It is terrible. I don't know why anyone watches it.
It went downhill from there. No, I mean, it's the same way for me. Like the most popular videos, not just because they're 5 or 6 years old and people have had more time to watch it, but I did another YouTube channel before the one I do now at Friendly Atheist, and the videos there, a lot of them went super viral, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I should maybe create my own channel, maybe. But like those videos are so many years old, but they're way more popular than anything I do now. But at the same time, I kind of like the rhythm I'm in now. So I don't really want to go back to making those very Atheism 101 sort of videos. Like, I'm not in that space right now personally. So it's like, I like commenting on politics more than I like talking about atheism per se.
Yeah, so on the main show I do is called Twit Tweets, where we cover some news stories and then we read some tweets and make fun of the twits who are tweeting.
Yes.
It doesn't really work with the new name for the site, so I'm just still calling it Twitter.
Xers, not quite the same.
But the Friendly Atheist blog is one of my go-tos for like seeing what's going on in atheist news. Awesome. And when I'm reading actual news articles, I will usually just directly pull from the article. When it gets to yours, I'm like, you know what? I feel like that He's so clever with his wording. I feel like I'm stealing if I read this word for word. So I'm gonna give my summary and not even scroll down so you can read it and say, okay, you go read that one.
I appreciate that, and I've heard it from a few other YouTubers and podcasters where or their fans have told me, like, if you ever like get hit by a bus, this podcast would go out of business or some version of that. It's like, I appreciate that. That's awesome. It makes me happy that I can provide that for people because I enjoy doing it. But also, I mean, this is a niche that I feel is not filled, which is there's a lot of stuff happening in regards to politics and religion, and it's almost never covered in a way that I'm like, but you're missing the point, and it has to do with religion. Yeah. Let's get into that. All right, so if others aren't going to do it because all the reporters have been fired, then maybe I can bring that to the table with commentary, and at least I can. I mean, it's good for me personally. Forget the rest of the people who are reading it. Like, it feels nice to be able to organize my thoughts around whatever the hell is happening and say, okay, here's the story, here's the timeline of what's happening, here's why this is a big deal. I mean, it has helped me understand a lot more about how the legal system is working, what these different atheist groups are doing to fight back against this stuff. I don't think I would know that if I wasn't able to do that research and go down those rabbit holes myself.
Yeah. Now we've got a question from Jassa in the chat. It says, have you been keeping up with Pastor David Taylor?
That is, David Taylor is, I know I just talked about him like 2 weeks ago, but he's like a trafficker of sorts, right? Is that the guy we're talking about? I don't know what the latest
sure.
update.
I have not been keeping up with Pastor David Taylor.
Are. I think I made a video about him a couple of weeks ago because he, correct me if I'm wrong, just like he was indicted, he was arrested. People are, even this administration's like law enforcement is digging into what this guy has done. That's how bad it is. But I have not seen anything in the past like week or two to update me on what's going on with him.
Okay. Yeah. I have severe ADHD, so I don't remember anything about David Taylor. The name's too generic. However, have you heard? I mean, this might be something that ultimately sources back to you, so forgive me if I'm just repeating you at you. But what's his face? Ryan Walters in Oklahoma. Have you been keeping up with how he left his job, and then there was an organization that runs an LGBTQ suicide hotline? They're like, our calls went down by 30%.
I am actually, that's on my list of things to talk about during my own live stream later today. But
Yeah.
yeah, I did see that, and that is incredible. Just that they could put how do you
Yeah.
quantify how horrible a person was?
But
That's
well,
a way to do it,
because
right?
apparently the people that were calling in would explicitly mention him as one of the
Yeah.
reasons they were under so much stress. Um,
Yes.
so like he leaves and that stops.
No kidding.
So it's
And
like,
it's weird to say this, but in Oklahoma, red state, his replacement, as far as I could tell, has been just professional, which is kind of all you can hope
that's
for.
yeah, that's best we can get in this time in this day and
I
age.
mean, yeah, I'll take it 100 times out of 100. He's been
like
fine and
there's,
genuinely
there's
good
no
so
porn
far.
at the PTA meeting. Okay,
Right? And they're still, as far as I can tell, they're still investigating Ryan Walters' time in office and trying to figure out, like, where did the money go? What was he doing?
Yeah,
And that investigation has not completed yet.
and there's also a teacher that's got a wrongful termination suit against him, I think.
Probably, she probably said something about Charlie Kirk or something, and they're going after anyone
No, I think this
dares to. Is it someone else?
I think it's from a few years ago.
Oh, that's a different issue then, because I believe he did go after teachers who criticized Kirk. But it's entirely possible. I mean, his whole goal of being superintendent of public instruction there was to just sow chaos and make teachers out to be the enemies. I mean, it's not the sort of person who you want in charge of education anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. He's much less harmful when in charge of the anti-teachers union group.
This is the question I still want answered, which is why did he leave to go take that job? Because it's such a small organization that he is now in charge of that he left his powerful government job to go run this small group. Like, if they were paying him crazy amounts of money, I would get it. I don't think they are. I can't confirm that right now, but like, I don't think they are. He doesn't have the platform he used to. He's not like he can tweet all he wants, but no one has to care about it anymore. So I do not understand what's his long game here. And I feel like we're going to find out at some point. Maybe it's the investigation into what he did, but it seems very much like he took a step down, and I don't know why.
Yeah, but the step down has been good. Hopefully his long game does not play out.
Everyone but him, and that doesn't strike me as something he would do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was just tired of all the attention.
There's no possible way. That's like saying Trump is going to resign because it's too much attention. Like, no, that's kind of the only thing he cares about, so that's not it.
No, but he aced the cognitive exam, so he's all good.
Yes.
So we got another $100 from John H. Thank you for that, John.
Thanks,
John. So again, I'm just going to reiterate, we are raising money for Project Share. They run a food bank. They have a hand in running a homeless shelter, and they help people find jobs. They help people with late bills. They do all sorts of good stuff. So if you are able, please go to donate.vicerhino.com and contribute there. We've got a goal of $15,000. We passed 10,000 last year, so I raised it up to 15,000 in high hopes this year. No, I'm not gonna. Never mind. I'm just gonna leave that one alone. Sometimes things go through my head that just should not make it to the microphone. Wooter V donated $25. Thank you for that, Wooter.
Thank you.
Hopefully, I'm saying your name right. Yeah. So Ryan Walters is crazy. Just it is.
I don't know if you know this about his history either. There are articles that are out about like how did this guy become that dude? And the weird thing is he used to be a high school teacher and maybe a tennis coach. And when he was an actual teacher and coach, every kid adored this guy. He was great. They spoke super highly about him. They even said, I think he taught government, some version of government, but they were like, honestly, we didn't even know his political views because he was pretty good about just playing devil's advocate for whatever ideas came up in class. And like, he sounds awesome as a teacher. And then the second he got into politics, he took this weird hard right MAGA turn and became the guy we all criticize now. Like, who is this guy? What? And again, I do not get why he just left that position when I saw it as a launching pad for him to run for governor. And maybe the writing on the wall
Well,
was that he's not actually popular. And if he's gonna lose against a slightly more moderate Republican, he would rather just not take the L. He would just like, you can't fire me, I quit. And that's why he left. Maybe. I don't know. I wish
so
I had the answer to
if I
this.
put my tinfoil hat on,
Yeah,
I could say so. Marjorie Taylor Greene is seemingly tempering her positions, and the
right.
hypothesis I've been seeing is that she's preparing for a run at governor herself. So
Not governor. I heard she's preparing for a run for president because I don't know if she could, but I don't know if she would succeed as governor of Georgia
yeah,
either.
governorship of Georgia tends to flop between Democrat and Republican, doesn't it?
I think it's been a while since it's been a Democrat, but I believe the governor of Georgia is not like super mega, relatively speaking. So she
Yeah,
has to temper it to try to win over those votes. That would make more sense than running for
that's
president. But whatever it
so
is,
that's
like if you're Marjorie Taylor Greene, how are you gonna pretend like you didn't say all the things we know you said? Like you're an
she
opposition
will always be the
researcher's
Jewish space
dream.
lasers
Yeah,
lady.
yeah, so like you could say whatever you want. It's fun to watch right now because she's one of the few Republicans willing to call out Republicans.
Yeah.
But it's very much the meme of we're all trying to find the guy who did this. Like, yeah, the party is bad because of you. You're the reason they went extreme.
Yeah, but my thought is like maybe Ryan Walters is trying the same thing. Like if he gets out, like he's seeing that MAGA is not as popular as it was before, so
Mm.
he's trying to get out of the public eye and put some distance
Which
between
would make more
what he's
sense if
done.
everything I still follow him online and all he does is shit on teachers and unions and public education. So again, if he's trying to temper himself, he sucks at it. Um, and he doesn't have a platform anymore. I don't think he can just call up Fox News now whenever he wants and say, like, bring me on. I got something to say.
Yeah, because then they're like, "Who are you?" It's
Right.
like we will bring you on if you put on a mask and pretend to be an ex Antifa agent.
Everyone is an ex Antifa agent, did you know?
I hear they arrested the girlfriend of the founder of Antifa.
Man, the president of Antifa is going to be so mad.
Oh, I think probably the craziest thing was when they had the Antifa roundtable and one of the yeah, I forget who it was, but they just straight up said that like, oh no, Antifa has been around since like the Weimar Republic in Germany. And we're like, yeah, they have. Who are they fighting then? And why are you
Yeah,
on that side?
we're against Antifa. Think about what you just said there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, it's
we're
nuts.
anti-fascists.
Yeah, I don't even like the words mean things. At least they used to.
They used to.
Yeah. Okay. So you used to be a math teacher, right?
Yeah.
How do you find yourself teaching math? Like that's the thing that like just stereotypically everybody hates math.
Sure.
So how do you end up
I
studying math?
I loved it in school. Like that was my subject. That's the one I was always good in. And in college, I was going to do medicine, but they always tell you if you're going to do medicine, you're going to be swamped with biology, chemistry
Hmm.
when you're in med school. So like you have to take some prereqs, but you don't have to double down on that stuff in college. So like go do what you like. So I had friends in med school who were like, I did a music major because I love music, or I did something else.
Yeah.
So I did a math major because I loved it. And when I mentioned there was a time I quit grad school and I was like, what the hell do I do? Part of the what the hell should I do was I think I can probably get a teaching license within a short amount of time. And I already got the math major. I just got to take the teaching elements of it. And that's what I ended up doing. And I got a job at a school that's really good. And so I ended up teaching for like 7 years and loved it. Like it's the only job I left, even though I didn't really want
Hmm.
to do this stuff. And so it was fun. Like I taught a variety of classes as, you know, if you work at a high school with a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
teachers in the department, you don't always get to just teach whatever the hell you want and just have a whole bunch of classes where you teach the same thing. Like all of us taught a bunch of different things. So it was good.
Yeah.
Variety of students. I got to, I don't know, it's talking to kids all day. It's fun.
Did you ever use the line "You won't have a calculator in your pocket all the time"?
No, because they would have known I was BSing them. But it is very much a. This is. I mean, just think of. Do you remember like geometry proofs? It's not so
Vaguely.
much. It's not so much anyone's going to ask you to do this later in life. It's more like we're about to play a game. There's a set number of rules, and what can you do when that's all you're allowed to play with? It's a puzzle.
It's
in
about
a
the
sense.
logic, yeah.
It's about the logic, and can you make your way? It's not so much you're not going to use this later. I'm not going to BS you about that, but it's can you work within the system and make this stuff work?
That's
And trying to solve that puzzle is hard for a lot of kids and adults.
so. I one of the things that I like to joke about is, and it's actually a true statement, even though it's kind of a funny joke, is that when we had to use the TI-83 plus calculators,
Yeah.
and we were supposed to have all these formulas memorized, I'm just like, okay, they're forcing me to use this $150 calculator in the
I'm
test.
going to plug them in my calculator.
I'm gonna like I didn't just plug them in. I programmed the calculator
yeah.
to solve them and display all those steps and everything for me.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
so like that's technically cheating on the test. But like the skills that I self-developed while doing that were far more valuable to me than memorizing the quadratic equation, which I
Yeah,
still
and
have memorized despite like the act of cheating made me memorize it.
And I'm not in the classroom now, but like all the teachers know
Oh, yeah.
that you have these tools available to you. So now the game is how do we test you on this stuff, knowing full well you can program a calculator. You might have access to the internet somehow. And it's not even cheating so much as we know what tools you have available, but we do want to quiz you on this stuff. What's the best balance to use? And I don't know what their solution is these days at different schools, but I I don't know. I don't know if you were in the same position I was, but in the sense that did your teachers know all the students were putting in their calculators, programming the formulas, etc.? Because I can tell you from being on the other side, I knew full well that's what the students were doing. So then I'm not just going to ask you a simple question like plug in some numbers and give me the answer. I expect you can do that. I need to ask you something else.
I can't imagine that they weren't aware of it.
Yeah.
It's just such an obvious way to cheat.
You would think, yeah. Though kids are way more sophisticated, and the ways they are cheating now is impressive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a arms race to see who could stay ahead of the other side. Because if you know students are doing X, like then the teacher's got to do a different thing. Do you use different tests in different classes? How do you manipulate the questions so that it's not something they knew in advance? It's a little game for everybody.
Yeah, got to keep
And
you on
that's
your
not
toes.
even getting into like English teachers. How do you assign an essay anymore?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Oh, back to in class writing essays with your pen and paper.
that is what they have to do now. Yeah.
Well, I have seen some English teachers that have they've done assignments that are basically like, you must use ChatGPT to do this, and then find out what ChatGPT did wrong and fix it, and that is actually part of the assignment.
Yeah. I mean, getting to know how to use the technology you have available to you seems like a valuable thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, personally, like every time I've tried to use ChatGPT for everything, it has been so underwhelming.
Yeah.
And I don't did you hear that their company is now asking the government for a subsidy because they're like, oh, we're not going to be able to succeed, or like we can't make a profit unless we get taxpayer dollars to help us open these data centers. It's just like, okay, so it's socialism when it's big giant corporations then? Is that okay?
Oh, billionaires love socialism.
As long as it's for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never understood. Like, just fucking pay for people's health care.
Yeah. I think in was it Colorado? They just passed a referendum that basically said, yeah, we're gonna tax rich people to pay for school lunches for everybody.
Yeah,
Which is like that's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, I read that about that as well. I don't remember what state it was, but Colorado sounds right. That seems like the kind of place that would be likely to pass that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I really like what Mom Donnie's been proposing with like just a tiny tax on people making over $1 million a year, and that pays for buses.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know how successful he'll be at all this stuff, but the fact that he's aiming high, and if he can get a fraction of it actually done, or pull that Overton window over so that that becomes the baseline, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I really hope the rest of the Democratic Party learns from his victory.
Seriously, my God.
That seems to be a very common sentiment over here on the left.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need you to have, if you don't want to call yourself a democratic socialist, I get that. And I know that Mamdani would not have won other races in other places, but also he's really good at this and in terms of the politicking.
Yeah, his positions are very popular.
Yeah. And he got people enthused and excited, and they were young and diverse. And like, this is the thing that annoys me about Democrats, one of many, but it's that they don't understand the importance of having cheerleaders on your side who can amplify everything you're trying to do. And if you can't excite the base, it's not that I'm not going to vote for you. I will. I know what's at stake, but most people don't. And what you need is like this army of people willing to go out and talk about how important this stuff is in simple ways, in whatever formats they want to use. And if you can't excite that part of the base, it's not going to work out well. Trump is really friggin' good at that, because all the racists want to amplify everything he's doing. That's why all those podcasts on the right and the YouTubers and Rumble people on the right, they're just doing free publicity for him nonstop all the time. There is no equivalent of that on the left. And what's annoying is that there doesn't really seem to be an organized effort to make it happen. Now, I think that's starting to shift slowly, but like, why aren't people taking more lessons from Mamdani? It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything he's saying, but also
the dinosaurs in charge of the party are just like, I want to keep my cushy job where I do no work and get like $170 some odd thousand a year.
Yeah, which is also weird because if it's the money, you can get money elsewhere. You'll be fine. All the people who are like,
but they can't do the insider trading.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm
sorry,
sure
the alleged insider trading.
But even if it's out of political strategery or whatever, like, let's say it's not just, I want to line my pockets. Maybe there are some people who are powerful Democrats who are actually in it for the right reasons. Even if that's the case, I don't get why they're shying away from it, because Mamdani, and by the way, other people too, are showing you how to get it done. I live in Illinois. There is, in one of the districts near me, not mine, but near me. What is it?
Kat Abugazali?
Yes.
She's amazing.
And she is amazing. But the thing is, I don't know her personally, but my assumption is she said, look, I talk about politics all the time. I know how to fight. It's what I've been talking about for years. Why don't I run for office? Because even if I lose, which is, again, this is me trying to channel her mindset. I don't know, or maybe I'm wrong. But the mindset might be, maybe I lose. But in the process of doing it, it's not, I'm sure cynics will say otherwise, but in the process, she learns how it is to run for office firsthand, but also she gets to force every other Democrat in that primary to play her game instead of being boring about it. Like, there is a mayor of a big town who's probably who's the front runner in that congressional primary race, who is fine. If he was the person who ends up being the congressman from that district, great, he'll be fine. But he's not super exciting. He's just boring, progressive, and it's not bad, but it's not gonna rally the troops. And I think back to like AOC beat another Democrat. That Democrat she beat years ago, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't really interesting. He's a solid vote for Democrats. That's all you could say about him.
Yeah.
She found a way to energize the base that goes well beyond her. We're way better off because she's in Congress. That's the way I'm thinking about Kat too, which is, who cares if she's young, if she doesn't have political experience? She knows what's at stake, and she knows how to get people's attention, and that's the currency we need, and that's the game we are playing. Why aren't the rest of you doing it? And if this pulls everyone else in her primary to play that game, she will have done a really good thing. Yeah. And also, who knows? She may very well win that primary at this rate.
It's kind of like when I think it was Andrew Yang in the presidential race was bringing up universal basic income all the
Yeah.
time. And suddenly the national conversation was about universal basic income, and that pulled a bunch of people further left than they otherwise would have
Right.
been.
And Yang is a shitty candidate, but that's not a bad
Hmm.
idea. And it's like, good. I'm glad you got people talking about it. Now please leave and
Oh, his party
let
now
other
is just
people.
nuts.
Yeah, yeah, which
Um,
was expected and predictable. But yeah, like go, everyone, go make Democrats do the right thing. And again, this is why you want cheerleaders who are going to force you to do the right thing. Because I think back to like Barack Obama when it came to marriage equality, he wasn't going to do it on his own because it's politically risky. But by giving people the permission to push him on it, and Joe Biden, to his credit, giving people permission to push Obama on it, it became a lot easier for those politicians to do the right thing eventually. But good. Keep pushing then. It works.
Yeah. So got another donation. Mian K for $29.99 says, "Is this the box that will be read by the one and only Vice Rhino?"
Ooh. Oh.
Yes. Yes, that is the box. Yeah, no, the Democratic Party really needs to get some energy behind it.
Yeah.
And
And I just don't get how that isn't obvious to so many people who have either powerful political positions, like the Senate leader, House leader, and a lot of the more liberal pundits who comment on this stuff.
the news articles coming out in the wake of Mamdani's win were like, so many of the, like, supposedly left-leaning outlets are now like, oh, his win is not actually a big deal. It doesn't actually point to anything important. Just like, fuck off.
Yeah, that's fine. You say whatever you want. I mean, and they're slicing and dicing his policy proposals. Here's why it's not going to work. Have you people listened to Trump talk about policy? I promise you, no one, again, when you're connected to politics and you pay attention like you do, like I do, it's easy to talk about those policy issues. But as we know very well, most people who are voting don't know about them. They don't give a shit about them. And all they are working off of are vibes. So
I mean,
it
Trump's
is funny
replacement
that
for
they're
Obamacare
slicing
is
and
just 2
dicing
weeks away.
Mamdani's proposals, but Trump's, they're like, whatever. None of it makes sense, but we don't have to dissect anything he says.
Yeah, the sane washing drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And like reporters get on Air Force One with them and then ask him, so like, are you going to violate the Constitution? It's like,
yes.
how, like, no, why are you giving him the inroad there? Just be like, hey, you said this thing, it is going to violate the Constitution. Why are you okay with violating the Constitution? Like, don't stop giving him ideas as to like, this is how you could potentially not call it a violation. Like, no, we don't need this.
Very true.
Apparently, Douglas Adams said anyone capable of having themselves made president should no account be allowed to do the job.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain level of arrogance you need to run for office, but what's annoying is that the worst people absolutely have that arrogance. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. They're like, I'm the smartest person I know. Of course I should run for everything. Meanwhile, all the actually intelligent people I know are like, well, I'm only a PhD, so I don't know everything about this issue. So maybe I shouldn't talk about this topic that I know everything about. And I shouldn't run for office because there are better people than me. And then whatever, some Twitter troll is like, I'm smarter than the rest of you. I'm going to run. And that's how we get Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, no, we need more ordinary people to just actually run.
Yeah.
We've got Progress Only in the chat. He ran for a position on city council in Michigan. I think it was city council. And he did win. And every now and then he sends me news articles to cover of things that are going on in his city. So
that is awesome. And I mean, even school board positions, things like that, those are
we
extremely influential, and it's super important. And if
we need the Moms for Liberty
stuff,
to not be able to run unopposed.
Yeah, I think they're actually backing out of the school board business and trying to go all in on getting elected to state and federal seats. Which I don't know.
Every single I forget where I read this, so it might not actually be true, but I hope it's true, is that every single school board position that they ran for in this past election, where they were not running unopposed, they lost.
Interesting. I did not see that, but I would believe that there's a lot of those people who have had their extremism in power for a few years now, and public school parents are realizing, oh, this I should care about this. These people are not just ruining my kids' education, they're destroying my property values because they're making the schools shittier.
Yeah. It's so many problems could be solved just by, supporting communities.
Yeah.
Like just give the schools the money they need. Let the people access the programs they need. In fact, like
Yeah.
even with Snap and like the limited things that you're allowed to spend money on when with
Yeah.
your Snap card, it's like all the research that I'm aware of has shown that if you just give people in need no strings attached cash, they do better.
Yeah.
And they will get a better job and they will get
Yeah. And
like
even if some of that money, you can always find ways people are using that stuff for ways that are unintended. But if you're going to base policy off of what the worst case scenario is, instead of thinking about how many people you could actually lift up, you're not going to accomplish anything.
yeah. No, it's the Nirvana fallacy. If it can't be perfect, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
We'll still fund the military though.
Oh, of course. That nothing has ever been wasted there.
No, there's no waste, fraud, and abuse there. And let's never you mind about like the welfare queens are who you have to be scared of. You don't have to worry about the fact that every single House representative has for the past what is it now? Is it 2 months now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get paid like $14,000 a month. They didn't do any work for that money,
Yeah.
but they're still getting paid.
Yep.
I mean, there are a handful of Democrats who I would assume are just doing it as a publicity stunt, who like made a big show of like writing a letter being like, "Do not pay me until the thing is over,"
Right.
and like,
And
good for
again,
them.
if you're in Congress, and I could even say this about, there's plenty of members of Congress who are not personally wealthy, but all of them are doing fine. Like, and most of them are doing way better than fine. So, okay, that's like Trump saying, I don't take a salary for the White House for being president. I donate that.
I just get billions of dollars sent to my
Yeah.
Bitcoin account.
Right. So, yeah, whenever someone who's wealthy is like, I'm giving 0.001% of my paycheck away, so I'm the good guy.
Yeah. Plus, like the whole fine art collection thing, like the whole reason art collecting is a thing is so you could like, oh, I'm going to donate this to a museum,
Yeah.
and that gives me a substantial tax break.
Right.
Yeah. So this is we're running out of time. So Hemant's got a very busy life that he's got to get back to. So thank you for joining me for this. I really appreciate it.
You know what it is? It's coaching. I gotta go do that before my live stream tonight. So I'm gonna go gear up for that.
There we go. Always got to get involved in the community. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank
we've
you, man.
raised top of the head math about $350
Excellent.
on this stream.
Make it higher, people.
That's been great.
And
so I appreciate
if anyone's watching on YouTube now, come check me out later tonight, and I'll be doing my live stream too.
Yeah, that's on the Friendly Atheist YouTube channel.
Yep.
And also the Substack blog at friendlyatheist.com.
Yeah. Thanks so much. It was fun. We'll do it again soon.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, man.